I started reading it, not part of the challenge, and then I got to the first gem and I thought, I need you to read this book.
You've changed for the better. The value from reading is so cheap. These books should be costing £200,000, £300,000, £400,000, £500,000. Like, basically, bad energy, stay far. That's why we know that song, bad energy. So you want to bring good energy.
Say the lyrics, man.
No, man.
Bad energy, stay far away. What is the power of these pages?
Power for me is...
Welcome back to the Power of Pages, where we review books that ignite your mind,
elevate your life,
and drive your ambition. And this month we have Full-Time to Fulfilled, and I forgot to say, I go by Ty.
And I go by Mr. Fly.
And yeah, this over the last month we've been reading Full-Time to Fulfilled by Matt Crabtree.
Yeah.
And I picked this book, and yeah, let's just get straight into it, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask you, why did you picked it? Why did you pick it?
Yes, I picked it. I was actually recommended to it. I'm actually fortunate enough to know the author.
Yes.
And it's a bit of an unwritten rule. In fact, I don't just know the author.
Yeah.
He's mentoring me.
Yes.
But I haven't asked him to be my mentor.
Okay.
And he hasn't said that he's my mentor.
Okay, it's like an unspoken
It's like
thing.
an unspoken thing.
Okay.
He knows he's helping me.
Yeah.
I know he's helping me.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's written this book.
Yeah.
And he said, have you read my book? And he actually sent me this book, which I'll come on to in part of the gifting section. You know what I'm talking about. The viewers don't. We'll get there. And he wrote a really nice message.
Okay.
And from the book, him writing this message makes sense.
Yes.
But it was also just really nice to see the message that he wrote. And I'll read it to the viewers. To Tyler, you're an inspiration already. Hope the book helps to fuel your ascent a little.
Nice.
And I just thought, just a nice touch.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why I picked it. But I wasn't actually going to make it as part of the review.
Okay.
Because I thought it's quite niche. Initially.
Mm-hmm.
After reading it, I don't think that so much.
Okay.
But initially, I thought it's quite niche. I'm not going to put it as part of the review. And then the first gem hit me.
Before you go there, all right, just to follow on from what you just said.
Okay.
Who's this book for?
Yes.
But who's this book for?
The exact person this book is for is niche.
Okay.
So the exact person this book is designed for is someone who's been working in a career for, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
They want a change. Perhaps they've helped sales teams or marketing teams, or they've helped businesses grow through their knowledge and skill set. Yeah. And now they're looking for a transition into being an independent consultant, going into companies and freelancing, essentially. But maybe they're still in full-time work. They're thinking about the transition. They're not quite confident in doing it. Or they've just made the transition and they want some additional tips. That's the ideal person this book's for. Yeah. Do you agree or?
No, I'd agree with that. But like you said, there's more to it.
Yes, there's more to it. That's who the book's designed for. But I think lots of different people can take gems from this book.
Yeah.
I mean, all entrepreneurs can read this book and take gems from it. I think even people just working a job and thinking about a career change can take gems from this book. Yeah. And I think even just the average person just wanting to read a bit more into business would take benefit from this book.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think, his writing style is really relatable. It's funny. He uses like emojis, which was quite funny. I don't think I've seen that before. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, I'd agree with you. I think it's definitely meant for people that are thinking about being consultants or are consultants. But there's definitely. I took value from this book. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge here that can be applied to business in general. Yeah. And maybe more so on a startup to some degree, but then also when you're kind of at another level, how to maintain and keep. So yeah, you were going to mention something. You were going to say something.
Well, I'll mention it and then we'll come on to who is Matt Crabtree. Yeah. Because I think that's important as well. Yeah. And I guess I'll ask you that. But I started reading it, not part of the challenge, and then I got to the first gem and I thought, I need to I need you to read this book after the first gem.
You've changed for the better. You changed for the better, so that's good because I've seen it and I appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you.
He's referencing to our book, Never Split the Difference, which I read without him. And eventually we did review it, but when we reviewed it, he realised how great it was and he was annoyed that I didn't make him read it the first time. So, yeah, go back in the channel, in the book review playlist, we've got that review. But, yeah, the first gem. No one has ever bought what I think I am.
Yeah.
Well, let me say it with emphasis. No one has ever bought what I think I am. They have bought what they think I am.
Yeah.
And that was like, that is so true. It hit me.
Yeah.
And actually, coincidentally, like a few days after I read that, or within that week of reading that section, 2 different people contacted me about doing some potential work with them.
Okay.
Because of what they think I am.
Yes.
They haven't asked me to deliver what I do or what I'm selling.
Yeah.
They've come to me and said, we've got this going on, you can help.
Yeah.
And that line was just perfect timing reading it. And I think even in other circumstances, because different people think I'm different things.
Yeah, well, I think you are.
Yeah.
You're different things to different people, right? You are.
Yeah.
So, and I think even in business, it's more so they might be aware of what you do as a whole, but then they know you've got the capabilities to do other things. But it's true. I mean, they look at you and they might think, because you might ask 2 different people. Someone might say, "Oh, Tyler, what does he do?" And you might get 2 completely different answers. Yeah. You see what I mean? So yeah, he's right.
So yeah, that was the first gem. What was your thought on that first gem?
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree with it. And I think it's down to like, they see value in you. They see value in what they think you're going to do. And then they want that. You know, they want that. So whatever the engagement was for yourself, or especially with him, because he's a consultant, they might think that he specialises in, be it marketing, be it finance, be it customer care, retention, whatever it might be. So they might come to him and say like, oh yeah, they might say we've got a consultant that's coming in who specialises in X, Y, Z. He might not actually specialise in that specifically, but that's what they think, and that's what matters, because that's why they're buying the service. Yeah. You see what I mean? So yeah, no, I mean, it's hard. You can't really disagree with that, I don't think. Yeah. No.
So who is Matt Crabtree?
From what I can remember, from what I've kind of noted down, he hasn't got like your conventional route into consulting. He grew up on a farm, from what I can remember. Yeah. But you know something like that. I was actually speaking with somebody yesterday who also grew up on a farm. She's done really well for herself in business, and she said, jokingly, but she goes, yeah, you know, when you are barreling hay, this was in America, so she lived in America, she's like, when you're barreling hay and waking up and milking cows or whatever it is you're doing on the farm, sending an email isn't hard. So I mean, stuff like that. So I think that definitely gives you a work ethic. Yeah. You know, those sort of, I won't even call it humble beginnings, but hard working beginnings. And then he got his first non-job is where, I'm kind of skipping a lot, but he worked his way up to the point where Barclays asked him to come and be a consultant for them. And that was his first kind of dipping his toe into consulting. Yeah. He called it as his first non-job. And he worked there for 6 months, helping their bankers improve their sales skills. Yeah.
Let's just backtrack a little bit, because he built up his skills. He built up to a position where by the age of 29, he was a board level executive. Wow. Yeah. So that's quite young to be a board level executive. How old is 20? 29. Wow. And after that, he then sort of went in to help the team, the non-job.
So he's a grinder. Like, he's obviously, and again, it'll be interesting. Obviously, he's your mentor. You know him, so it'll be interesting to see. I think those early years on the farm, maybe they shaped him, because he's definitely a hard worker, and to work your way up in that sort of environment at such a young age, because your age actually works against you in those situations as well. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
Well, I think one of the accolades I wrote down was he made the worst performing sales team, which were 27th, he made them the best performing sales team. Crazy. So they were 27th, he brought them all the way up to first, which is quite good.
Yeah, it's quiet, it's honestly very good.
Very good, yeah. But the non-job was, he created it himself. A couple of leaders said that if he was ever to become a consultant, they would be interested in hiring him. Yeah. And that obviously inspired or encouraged him to go down the consultancy route. And this actually makes me think back to my ambition of going into companies and delivering workshops. And I remember a very specific example of when I was introduced to the idea that this could actually be a thing. And in university, I did like an additional TEFL course, which is like teaching English
as a foreign language.
And they asked us to create a presentation and just deliver it. I think it was just for our presentation skills. It could have been about anything. And I delivered it about health and physical well-being. And the lady who was running the course said to me, "Oh, Tyler, that was really good. That would be really useful, like in workplaces."
Oh, wow.
So she planted the seed in my head. And this book reminded me of that moment. Because he kind of got his non-job. So someone's kind of said to him, "Yeah, like we'd be interested in hiring you if you became a consultant." What's a consultant? Oh, maybe I'll do that. Kind of. That's who Matt Crabtree is. And in fact, let's go a little bit more. I wrote some other stuff. He's delivered speaking engagements all over the world, helped countless consultants develop their own independent practices. He's the founder of consultancy firm Positive Momentum. And I think, I didn't actually write this down, but I think it said he bills clients annually worth $500,000 consistently. Consistently $500,000 a year in his consultancy charges, plus his firm where he has other consultants and takes a percentage from their deliverables. So he's an impressive man.
Has this kind of, has it raised your eyebrow into consultancy? Because obviously, is there, besides the fact that he gave you the book, and you obviously know him, was there any other reason that you decided to read this?
No, like I wasn't aware of the book.
But basically, are you interested in consultancy now? Is that something you thought about?
I think consultancy is just a word. Because essentially, I kind of am a consultant. It depends. Like going back to the first line, you are what people think you are, and essentially, so I mentioned, someone got in contact about helping. This is what it was. They asked me to help them with their well-being roadshow. They had an event. They wanted me to go to their offices, or it was a warehouse center, and help their employees with their well-being. And it was very vague. And I said, come on, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about this, so I can understand. And I was essentially consulting people around health and well-being in the form of mini presentations or mini workshops. So, consultancy is just the word.
Would you brand yourself as that, or would you place yourself? Would you, if someone asked you, you met one of the young people that I work with today, and you didn't lead with I'm a consultant.
Yes, I did.
So I mean, would you lead with that? Is that something?
Not at this moment in time, I don't think. I don't think. But I think that's because I haven't had the work that has made me consult in my eyes. In my eyes.
No, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
That's a really good question.
Because I kind of felt I was like, okay, why did Tyler recommend this book? And I was like, okay, obviously, you know Matt Crabtree, and you obviously liked the book, but is there something else that maybe you're kind of interested in? And like you said, you kind of already do it. So is there something like, is it another string to your bow that you could also offer? I know we're going way off topic here, but it's just interesting. So anyway,
and another reason I thought about it as well, because obviously you've got your organisation, amazing organisation, FFLY Youth, doing amazing things for the community. Thank you. But what's life going to be like after the organisation?
You did say that to me. Yeah, you did say that to me.
You've got lots of experience now with your non-for-profit, now turning into a charity. You've got Okay,
carry on.
You've got lots of rare skills that other people could hire you to teach them.
No, I mean, because I think as well, look, because I have thought about, like, I've seen people say, oh, I'm a consultant now. I'm going into consultancy, and it's like, for me, there's levels to this, and I don't want to. Not even me personally, I've looked at them and I'm like, okay, what credentials do you have to become a consultant? You know, you see like on LinkedIn and stuff like that. Oh yeah, consultant now X Y Z, and it's like, if I do anything or if I say I'm going to do anything, I do it. I want to do it to a certain level, certain standard. So, who's to? And again, like you said, maybe one day, someone might just ask me to do something like that. It's not something I wouldn't put myself in that bracket now. I definitely do help smaller organisations to myself. I've kind of given them the blueprint of how we got to where we are, and I've spoken at certain events and you know, I wouldn't call it consulting, but I've definitely worked with and helped smaller organisations that are on their way up. But it's not something that I would kind of, I don't see that for myself, but that's because until you ask the question, I never even thought about it. So now, again, reading this book and you kind of posing that question to me, I think, okay, because I kind of have an idea of what I will do after, you know, or, you know, the next chapter. However, consultancy or anything in that bracket was never even thought about. So now it's like, okay, I mean, like you said, there are credentials. And when you look at we'll go into more what consultancy actually, I mean, how would you define consultancy?
I would just define it. It's very broad. I would just define it. I would actually say what you did there for those organizations, going and helping them, giving them blueprint, that is consultancy.
Yeah.
Consultancy for me is just giving advice. It's, you know, giving advice, but you might do that in the form of a presentation. You might do that in the form of an event.
Yes.
Like it's helping other people to learn.
Yeah.
Teaching. There's different aspects to it, but I think it's just a broad word.
Quite broad, yeah. I think it's intentionally broad as well.
Yeah. So what you did there for those smaller organizations, someone does that for in other industries and calls themselves a consultant.
Yeah. And charges for it.
And charges for it.
Yeah. No, interesting, man. Interesting. And I think going back to the book, his writing style, there was some really good things. Because again, I wasn't reading it with a consultancy hat on. I was reading this, okay, how can I apply this to my business and even into my life? You know, because there's certain things, and reading this made me do some things. I thought, you know what, actually, I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to do that now. You know, he spoke about like C to C's. So I know I'm kind of jumping around, but it's fine. So that's like coffee to, what does it stand for?
Coffees to cash.
Coffees to cash, there you go. But essentially, that is just meeting up with people with no real intention besides just having that communication, having a meeting, how are things going, kind of getting more personable with the person. So I said to myself, I was like, yeah, you know what, there's a few people that are in the same industry as me or within the same non-for-profit voluntary sector as me that are at the same level as me as CEOs and whatnot. And we kind of see them at events and hi, you're right, but I've never actually taken time to send them an email, say, oh, so we just meet up for a catch up, like a coffee. I don't drink coffee, but you know, for a coffee or for a lunch or something like that. Yeah. So I sent a few emails out like that, a few messages out like that. Some of them have come back, some of them haven't, but it's all good. But the point is, I was like, I wouldn't have done that. Again, I was really thinking, okay, how can I apply this to what I'm doing, to me? So, and that was, I mean, do you know him? Do you think that was intentional, or do you think he wrote it with that as a thought that people can apply this to all other types of businesses, or it's just a byproduct, like a positive byproduct of it?
I think he wrote this is my opinion, that specifically for other consultants to try and get them to come and work as part of his business.
Positive
momentum. Of course, he wrote it. He talks about the act of giving.
Yes.
So part of that is to give, because you know giving is invaluable.
Yes.
So giving free knowledge, or not free because you got to buy the book.
But it's cheap.
Yeah, but
I mean that's the thing. Like the value, and I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, but the value from reading is so cheap.
Yes.
These books should be costing £200,000, £300,000, £400,000, £500,000. Like honestly, not £100,000, like £1,000 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think so? Because if we talk about, there's loads of books when I've taken something specifically from that book and I've implemented it, and it's made money.
Yeah.
Or it's helped me to deal with a situation that has had a favourable outcome.
Yeah.
Either personal life, and you can't really put a value on that.
No.
So I guess what I'm saying is, read more. Like no, it's so cheap. How much was this book?
Yeah, it was
£12. You got it for free.
So
it's free.
Sorry,
but £12. So my point is like, even if it's Audible or it's whatever it is, man.
And it's actually Audible. I think it's only £1 on Audible.
It's
so
it's crazy. So if that has gone back to what you're saying, he's basically giving it away for free.
Yeah.
He's basically giving the game away
for
free. Because if I was like someone who was going to consult, I would literally follow this verbatim, do what he said, and do you see what I mean? And there's other books as well. He actually does a book list at the end of it. So Yeah, man. People should. It's so cheap. It's
Yeah.
ridiculously cheap. It's ridiculous. It's underpriced. sorry. I'm gonna stop because I could keep going, but I'll stop there.
Yes. Okay. And I agree because there's so much value in this book, and yeah. So part of the reason him writing it is the act of giving, because you just never know what happens just by giving and putting things out there. And I want to talk about acts of kindness as well, because I think that's a nice segue. And he writes, small acts of kindness should need no financial reward in themselves. But if you do these kind of things deliberately and often enough, I'm living proof that prosperity in all respects will flow. So basically, the more you give, the more that comes back. And I try to live by this. And this book made me think, maybe I don't even give enough. Like, I always thought I give, but there's always more to give.
Yeah.
And it just made me, think about how I can give more. And yeah, basically. But there was one example that he mentioned about a book that he sent to someone about Disneyland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So there was someone that he knew, I can't remember how he knew them, but they were going to Disneyland. He had happened to go to Disneyland and read a book on going to Disneyland. So he sent this book to this gentleman and said, read this book if you're going to Disneyland. It's great. They read it. That book made them have the best Disneyland trip ever.
Okay.
That person now, he might have respected him already, but he's like more grateful for him. Now he wants to work with him. Because of that relationship, that person has generated his business over £5 million over the lifetime since they've known each other. Simply because he sent a book. Now, if he didn't send that book, would he have still got that work? Maybe not, because of that relationship. Is the book the only reason he got the work? No, because if he wasn't good at his job, then they wouldn't work with him. But the act of giving has resulted in millions of pounds.
Like you said, and what it boils down to is that relationship.
Yes.
It's relationship building, and that's something I've noticed is like it's all about the relationship. If you're really good at what you do, but you are very poor at building relationships, and no one that you speak to likes you. They think you're arrogant, you're late, you're whatever. You don't do what you say you're gonna do. X, Y, Z. That's gonna work negatively towards the relationship, and we won't have a relationship at the end of it. But if you kind of like, if you're able to build relationships with people, things will be so much easier for you.
Yeah.
They'll be so much easier for you. People will give you allowances like, you know what, fair enough, he's a nice guy, she's a nice person.
Yeah.
X, Y, Z. As opposed to on the flip side where it's like, but I don't really, just what I mean. And that's one thing, like he talks about, that's with the coffee to cash or cash to coffee or coffee to cash, building relationships, buying books of people, doing it, because he buys books for a lot of his clients.
Yeah.
He buys even people that have either been clients of his or people that he's kind of speaking to. If he sees a journal or something or an article that he thinks is relevant to them, that doesn't actually benefit him, he will pass that through onto them. And again, that's relationship building.
And just out of the goodness of his heart, I think so-and-so would benefit from this, let me send it to them.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's not, he said something really, it's about genuine, So it's like, if we're having a conversation and you might be talking about something that I don't know anything about. Now, I can either feign interest or I can be genuinely interested. If I feign interest, people will know, you're quite fake, or they'll see through it quite quickly. However, if I'm interested, you do fishing. Tell me a bit. I don't even know what's fishing, but I'm interested. X, Y, Z. That's how you actually build relationships with people.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And I think you can kind of, that's what's important. And he says it here, show a genuine interest. And the word is a genuine interest, because you can talk to someone about anything, and if you're genuinely interested, they'll feed off that, and then they'll speak to you, and then again they'll go and you're building that relationship. So, and that's like a common thread that I think went through the whole book. And
Yeah, and I want to touch on that actually this morning, because I met a young person of yours today, and you introduced me to him and told him, that I run a business. And he asked me what my business was, and he genuinely seemed interested. And like, I left feeling a great impression of that young person. I thought, wow, he's actually quite, friendly. He seemed interested.
Yep.
And when people show that
Yeah.
genuine attitude towards you, you like them. I don't even know the boy, but I like him.
Yeah.
Simply because he just took an interest, a genuine interest in me. So
No,
that's kind of the ethos.
And again, in business, it's about relationships. It's about, you want to be invited to that party, you want to be invited to that seminar, you want to be invited to that dinner.
Yeah.
You want to be let into that room where there's opportunities in that room. You know what I mean? You want to go. A friend of mine said this to me the other day. He was like, "Oh, Chris, you know what? I don't mind. I know I can recommend you to anyone because I know that you're like, I'm happy to recommend you."
Yeah.
And that's how you want people to feel about you. You don't want them to feel like, "Oh, you know what? He's good, man, but boy, if I let him around these people, I don't even know what he might say, or I don't even know what he might do." You know what I mean? And then that's actually holding you back. So that was, especially when you're, talking about consultancy specifically, you're the product.
Yeah.
So you need to know if I work with a consultant and then I recommend him to you, I need to know that he's gonna do. If I don't like him, I'm not gonna recommend him to anybody. But if I think he's really good or she's really good, I'm gonna recommend him to everyone. Oh yeah, this person, they're amazing. And that's not only consultancy. That's for all types of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's even just for jobs.
Yeah.
Like if you're working a job, you want to be likable. You want people to, if there's a job promotion coming up, if you're liked, you're more likely to be in a better position to get it. So he says, you must be likable as a consultant. You must bring good energy and be positive.
Yes. Is that the 3 E's? Do you remember the 3 E's? So that was in the chapter 3, consultancy, is it right for you? And he talks about the 3 E's, ways of like the benefits you can get and you can bring to your clients. So the first E is for energy. Basically, bad energy, stay far. That's why we know that song, bad energy. So you want to bring good energy. You want to, when you come into the room...
Say the lyrics, man.
No, man.
Bad energy, stay far away.
Yeah, thank you. So you want to kind of bring that positive energy. He talks about it on another chapter about, don't get involved, more so as a consultant, but this is the way I operate in my life. It's like, don't get involved in the gossip and all that, because that's also, if you're spreading gossip or spreading rumours or participating in it, you're part of that negative energy. And especially as a consultant or even as a leader within your organisation, you don't want to be part of that. That's very poor to be. Then the next one is engagement. Yeah, people like people who show a respectful and genuine interest in them. So that's kind of, that's how you engage with people. That's how you have a conversation. Like the young man today, if I sit with someone and they say, do this, tell me a bit more. Even if I'm not going to pretend that I know, tell me more. I'm genuinely interested. I'm respectful of, oh, you do this type of martial art, or you do painting or drama or whatever it might be. Okay, tell me a bit more about it. I'm interested because I'm trying to engage with you so you can see a bit more about me and get to know a bit about me. Even the fact that, he's a good listener, or we had a good conversation. Sometimes I walk away from people like, we had a really nice conversation actually. I don't know much about them, but we had a really nice conversation. And then the other E was edge. What's your edge? What makes Tyler Tyler? What makes Chris Chris? Your USP. What gives you that edge? Why are they gonna, in a consultancy situation, but any business, why would they come with you? Because there's a wide raft of consultants, but he's doing really well. He's made, over $500,000 or $1 million a year, whatever the number was. So besides he can be really good at his job, and what makes it special? Why would they go with Positive Momentum versus another consultancy company, XYZ? So that was, again, that's something that can be applied to all businesses. That can be applied to you as your personal development. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no. The one section that I felt maybe dragged a little bit, but it was important, and he's aware that he drags on about it in the book, because he kind of mentions that he drags on. He's like, sorry to bore you again.
Okay.
But he's talking about LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Because the LinkedIn section I found essential and necessary.
Yes.
But I felt it dragged slightly.
Okay, that's interesting. Can I ask you a question before you go on?
Yes.
Is that because did you know most of the stuff he was talking about? Like, you're quite competent on LinkedIn, so.
I mean, there were nice reminders. There were additional things about, adding connections. Yeah. So, I feel I was quite clued up about it already. So maybe that's why I felt.
The reason I'm asking, because obviously I don't use LinkedIn as well as I could. As a result of reading this book, I'm like, I need to step my game up on LinkedIn. Yeah. But I found that chapter really, I didn't make any notes on it, but this is like you can just follow these.
Yeah, very easy framework.
Yeah, you can use, he talks about the invitational messages and stuff like that. So that was a good chapter. It's like bit by bit, paint by numbers, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. Just follow these steps.
Yeah.
I didn't think it dragged.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's interesting.
I think if you're not someone who uses LinkedIn,
Yeah, exactly.
then it's an A to Z guide
Yeah.
on how to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe because I use it, I was like, yeah, okay, I do that. I do that already.
Okay.
But it was essential. And also, I didn't like that he poo-pooed SEO.
Did he?
Briefly. Well, briefly. I think it was maybe one sentence.
What did he say?
He just said something like, don't fall into the trap of, SEOs, and you need to get your website optimized and ranking on Google and blah, blah, blah. Because
he's talking
from
his
experience. And I think SEO, obviously, in my business, it plays a role, and I actually benefit from SEO. But it's taken a lot of work. Yeah. And I agree that for an independent consultant to try and go into SEO, it's a lot of work. The other routes that he's talking about are obviously, they work for him.
Yeah.
I just think it still has its place. It still has its place.
Yeah. But again, he's talking his experience. He's talking from his situation.
Yeah.
He's managed to benefit from LinkedIn and his stature. So, and as well, he worked his way to the position where when he was in the game, he was already, he had that non-job at Barclays. So that was off the work he done. So, how long he was working, people don't have that time. So they've got to kind of speed up the process, and maybe they can put that time and effort into SEO. So, but he's speaking from his experience.
Yeah. But I can't remember what I was talking about in terms of...
You were talking about SEO.
Yeah, okay.
But while you're trying to remember, I think my favourite chapter was chapter 6.
Okay.
And it's called The Initial Meeting, Charm and Disarm.
Okay.
And it made me laugh, actually, because I was thinking about my honeymoon, right? And then me and my wife were trying to get... our seats weren't together on the plane. That was it. So it was in the thing, and we went to check in and stuff, and then the lady was... She was, it was early in the morning. I don't know what happened to her in the morning. Maybe she doesn't like her job, whatever. So she was kind of giving us that dragon energy, she wasn't having it. And then I said to my wife, I was like, I'm gonna get her, don't worry. We're gonna get our seats together. I'm gonna get her. Then obviously I started, start talking, laughing, joking. And by the end of it, we're all cracking jokes and stuff like that. She said, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I can. And then so I just kind of, it made me laugh when I read that, because she was like, you always do that. And I was like, well, but I think she's better than me, but sometimes it just worked, that dynamic worked for me. So when I read that chapter, I was like, when I read the chapter title, I was very interested to say, okay, let me see this, because it's true, because sometimes even me, if I get a phone call from, if it's a sales call or some sort of call, initially my barriers are very, you're not going to get much from me. It's like, okay, you have to disarm me, because my barriers are way up. And then if you are good at what you're doing, you will get more from me, and I'll be very open with you. But otherwise, if you don't have that skill, you're not going to get very far with me. And I've been on both sides of that. So, he spoke about, he put a nice little thing here that I wrote. So having expertise certainly matters, but if you don't also know how to create an affinity with others, then as we already explored, then there's easier ways of making money. So he makes a little joke there as well. He made a good joke about you should open up a bar in Spain or something. Yeah. So it's funny. He's funny the way he makes.
I actually laughed quite a lot throughout the book. It brought out some emotion of me, and that just reminds me of something he said about qualifications, because he was like, as a consultant, your reputation is the main thing. The people that you've worked with in the past, how people perceive you, etc. And he said, don't think that a qualification is going to make your former colleagues now think that you're amazing just because you have the Intergalactic Confederation of Business qualification. And I was like, I laughed out loud from that. I was like, it's funny, and it's funny because I see on LinkedIn, people, posting up, just got this qualification, and
again, it's like he said here, having the expertise certainly matters, but if you don't, and this is the key thing, if you don't know how to create an affinity with others, that's the most important thing. And it's personable skills, and that's why you'll see on the flip side where I've seen people that actually don't even have any real, the only skill is that they know how to speak to people and they know how to make people feel comfortable. But they're doing really well. But sometimes, like I said, on the flip side, you scratch beneath the surface, like there's not even really there. There's nothing there. But they're so emotionally intelligent. They're so good at just getting on the right side and very likable. It's a very underrated skill that I think everyone can develop, because the basic thing is talk less and listen more. I think that's the way I think. Just talk less and actually listen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give away my tricks, or my things that I do, but talk less, listen more, and just actually show an interest. Don't always talk about yourself.
Yeah.
That's basically, and then, that's kind of a way to build that affinity. Because, you just have a nice conversation. So that was really good. Then he speaks about the C2C, and he said it's not a sales opportunity. So again, the time and the place.
Yeah.
If I call you up and let's talk from a consultancy perspective. If he reaches out to somebody, says, oh, I'm in the area on whatever day, would you want to meet up for a catch up? And they say, yeah, no problem. And then they come, they give you their time, which is a very valuable asset, as we know. They come and sit down with you, and then you start pitching them. Wow.
Yeah.
How are they going to leave that meet? I mean, you don't even know if they want to buy what you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So just have a chat with them and just, again, build that affinity. So then when your name, there's a quote on Instagram where it's like, you want to have friends that will say your name in a room full of opportunities. You want to create that affinity with someone, say, oh, my work, the morale's really low. Oh, you know what? Tyler, loving life. That's the moment where, and then you're already co-signed. So when all it is just, oh yeah, really? They call you up. So that's because if you're able to build that affinity.
Yeah. He says, as soon as he stopped talking about him and focused entirely on asking people about them, then real opportunities started to flow. He wasn't now saying, oh, I can help your team do this, that, and the other. He was listening to what their issues were.
Yes.
And this can help people come up with their own solutions in their head.
Yes.
But he triggered that solution. So now they think he's the reason, he's the one that helped them, right? And you mentioned like a C2C, because I wanted to talk about a C2C that he had.
Okay.
Where,
yes, I know what you're going to talk about.
Where he went for a Japanese with a CEO, but basically this CEO he wanted to have a catch up with for ages, and he found a way to be in the same location as this CEO randomly. He found a way to be there and said, I happen to be in the middle of whatever random...
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere on the same day that you are. And they went for dinner that night, and they just had a normal chat about business. He was obviously trying to help. And this actually made me realize different things. Okay. That one, there's money to be made in the world.
Yeah.
This book also made me realize that there's money to be made in the world. And maybe we might touch on that, just thinking about, just even our community, how we've grown up. I certainly didn't grow up seeing or believing that this was achievable. Reading this book is another reminder that it is achievable for us. But anyway, he went for a Japanese, and he tried to pay. And the CEO said, no, I'm paying. And he, pushed back a little bit. No, it's all right. And CEO said, no, I'm paying. And then he said, I'm also want you to invoice me for 1K.
Yes. Yes.
Because for your time, the value he got, he's like, invoice me for £1,000.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Or I don't know if he said that, but the CEO knew that he wasn't going to do it. So he got his PA to...
the CEO got his PA.
The CEO got his PA to message Matt's PA to say, right, sort out the invoice, basically, because I want to pay you for your time. But there's different levels to that. And it's like, that guy respected his time, he valued it, and he was adamant that he was going to pay for it.
Man.
And when you're that valuable, or you offer that much value, people respect your time. They're willing to pay whatever it is
They'll go
that
out
you
of their
charge.
way to
They'll
pay,
go
'cause he
out
went
of,
out of his way to pay. Yes.
And actually, it brings me back to the point I mentioned earlier about the client who said they wanted me to come and help them out. And they didn't ask me pricing or anything. I just sent them a price, and they just come back, this is great. Obviously companies have budgets, but if they really want you, the price isn't the thing.
Agreed.
And the book helped me to realize that, as well as the timing of life circumstances. And Yeah.
No, that's deep. And I think, like you said, there's so many layers to that. Because it opens your mind. Like you said, I mean, I work with a lot of young people. Some of them are aware that you can create. You know, when I first set up the organisation, it's about cultivating. That's what it is. It's cultivate, create, make something out of nothing, literally. You know, when you go back to, people made fire. You can make fire from literally nothing. Do you see what I mean? So we have that capability within us. We're able to do that. We can make things. So this is, in that situation, he managed to manifest or make this meeting with this gentleman, which is now, the guy has now already paid him. And there was no intention for any money to be made. It was just for the C2C. Again, imagine, flip it on the other hand, on the other side. He finally got him. Yes, I got the CEO. I'm going to start pitching him. The conversation would have been, thank you for your time. See you later. And that's the end of the relationship. You know, so it shows that, he says here with the C2C, he does between 250 and 300 per year. And none, and most of them maybe yield nothing in revenue, but he's still putting him. This is someone who's made loads of money. Like, he's done really well. His business, runs a really successful business. He's still out here putting himself in these positions, giving himself. You know, his time is valuable. Yeah. You just saw he sat with someone for an hour. They paid him £1,000. That's mostly cheap for what he mostly charges. You see what I mean? Yeah. So his time is super valuable, but he still realizes that, I've got to keep this funnel going. I've still keep these opportunities open. Stay current. You know, he talks about it, staying current in the mind of people that are in your sector. You know, hence why he uses LinkedIn so well. Yeah. And other things that he talks about that he does with these gifts and all this kind of stuff. Staying current in the mind. So yeah, it's really inspiring, to be fair. You'd think, because most people think, or the common kind of conversation or the common journey is, you know, you make the money, you sit back and go on the beach and drink tequila or something like that. Do you see what I mean? Which is nonsense. But that's that's kind of that's the story out there. Yeah. When really you got someone who's, because he loves it, he's passionate about it. And I think, again, as well as him wanting to provide that value and all the kind of stuff he said, I think maybe the main reason he wrote this book is because he actually just really loves what he does. Yeah. And I think that's something that kind of goes through the whole book, that he really loves it and enjoys it. It was more like an informal conversation, the smiley emojis and the jokes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't know how to follow on from that, man. But there was another thing that I wanted to touch on, which helped me, because something, maybe it's how from my past, or I think maybe my mum's kind of instilled it in me loosely, is pricing. And there was a pricing section. When I pitch in my prices to companies, sometimes I'm not that comfortable with putting what I perceive to be ridiculous pricing, because when I think back to how I grew up, I'm thinking, wow, they're paying this. That,
am I worth that much?
Not just am I worth that, like these other people that I know, that's a week's or a month's salary for some people. So I haven't necessarily been comfortable with it. And he had a great example of where a company asked him for a discount. And he shut them down. And I was like, yes,
supreme confidence.
I love this. That's supreme confidence in pricing and knowing your worth and not caring. And basically, the company wanted a discount for guaranteeing a set amount of work. So they're like, we work with you regularly. Right, we're going to guarantee you, let's say 50 days of work. And but with that guarantee, we want a discount. And he said, well, actually, you know, if you want me to book out my diary for that long in advance, you're actually going to have to pay a premium.
You want me opportunity cost?
Yeah, opportunity cost. Yeah,
facts, opportunity cost.
So you're going to have to pay a premium if you want me to book out my. So he flipped. So what the end result was? They ended up continuing working with him and doing more work than they did the year before. But that was just a nice reminder for me, really. I think, because I think I've been guilty of saying, sure, like have a discount.
Look, I mean, feel free to not answer the question, but obviously I'm pretty sure it was him that told you to kind of raise your prices at some point.
Yes.
You know, so, and I know anything to do with pricing, because even, you know, with our organisation, and I've had conversations with, you know, we work with a lot of like personal trainers that are just coming into the industry, and, you know, you've got some PTs can charge £150 an hour, £200 an hour easily, and some PTs will literally try and charge £5-10 an hour, and it's like, the conversation I have with them is like, you need to get your prices up. It's too cheap. Like, it's not even worth you getting out of bed. Like, honestly, you're better off. You need to get your price up because you need to value yourself.
Yeah.
So it's deeper than just putting, especially when you're the product.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because if you, let's say you made like designer bags or something like that, and you know how much you spent on the leather and design, you'd be able to say, well, I've already spent £600 on this, so I need to I'll sell it for £1,200 because, you know. But then when you apply that to yourself, how much money have you spent? How much time have you spent? How much work have you put in? So when that sweat equity, all that kind of stuff. So when you look at it like that, you actually, but it's. I mean, I'm talking from personal as well. It's not. It's hard, but you have to do. You said it's uncomfortable, then you should definitely do it.
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Because you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, sort of thing.
No, 100%. And this book's helped me definitely with my confidence with pricing, and also to put me out of the mindset of the community and into the corporate. Like those, they have money.
They've got budgets.
They have money, and
it's really like, I think he's really smart.
Yeah, very
like,
smart.
Obviously, it's obvious, but I just wanted to actually say that because it's like, no, the reason I'm saying that is because it's actually quite a logical, understandable explanation to like, well, we're guaranteeing you this income.
Yeah.
You know, so of course we get a discount. You get guarantee. You know, it's guarantee. Yeah. It's a guarantee. You're well, maybe not freelance, but I guess you're kind of freelance. Or you know, we're guaranteeing you 50 dates.
Yeah.
Your diary. So we should get a discount for that, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of makes sense. But he just flipped that on him, so naughty. In a sense, like, well, actually, I'm because you're now stopping me from making more.
Making money elsewhere. I mean? Yeah.
And you know, so that was like, wow. There's levels to that's like a high. He says here actually, play chess. You know, that's like a high level chess move.
Yeah.
You know, so that was like, and again, it comes to the comp, but it's so that was really impressive, man.
Yeah.
And I think definitely there's a lesson in there for everyone,
Absolutely.
for yourself, for everyone. Yeah, there's lessons in there. Values. Sometimes you got to bank on yourself. You know,
absolutely.
Got to bank on yourself.
No, it was a great reminder, this book, and I learned lots of additional things. The other thing was BGQs.
Yes.
Yes. Love that session, and I actually went to a talk of his, and saw him talk. You know, reference the BGQs and talk about it.
Okay.
So he uses it regularly in his work, and he actually mentioned he was at the airport and someone.
Tell them what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like,
I haven't even mentioned what it is, have I?
Yeah, no.
Well, let's keep the suspense.
What's for the end?
But someone mentioned, they saw him at the airport,
yes.
and they didn't remember his name.
Yes.
They said, "Oh, hey, you're the BGQ guy," and that obviously stuck with them because it's so valuable. So what is a BGQ?
Bloody good question.
Bloody good question.
Yeah, bloody good question.
Me old mate.
Yeah, but yeah. But it's again, think about it, like deep it. A good question gets a good answer.
Yeah.
You know, we speak about ChatGPT, using ChatGPT and stuff. The better your question, and I say this because I teach the young people to use it. And like, the better question you ask, the better answer you're gonna get.
Yeah.
If you ask a very, very bland and, you know, again, talking about building an affinity with someone, if you just ask, oh, so, you know, what did you do today? Yeah. Okay, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Like, you know, what did you do today is a good opener. Yeah. But can you follow, basically, can you ask a good question? Like, because that also shows you're engaged. Yeah. Because you're listening to what that person's saying and you're trying to relate and connect the dots to get a good question, which will get, you know, and then, if you can open, like he said, if you can open someone's mind and make them think something they've never. You know, I remember some good questions I've been answered, like, "Wow, no one's ever asked me that before." Yeah. You remember those things, so if you can get someone if you can pull that out of someone, it's gonna benefit you. So yeah. I mean, it's something that's quite simple, but also something that is you have to be, and it's not even hard to do. You just have to be engaged in what the person's saying. Yeah. You just have to listen, and I think that's something that's so underrated. Listening. And being engaged in the conversation, you know, not like I'm talking to you here, like, oh yeah. So, okay, cool. I'm not listening to you. I'm on my phone. You know what I mean? So especially if I'm in a mode of business where I'm trying to win business or trying to get the opportunity to demonstrate my skills to you, I need to really be engaged in what you're saying. I need to really listen and communicate with you and build off what you're saying, so then I can ask a question that then builds off, and also you're giving me more information. Yeah. That I can maybe, like he said. It's all connected. If he's asking good questions and getting good answers, and that person mentions that they're going Disneyland with their family, oh, he said he's going Disneyland. Send that book through. Yeah. It's all It's all connected. You see what I mean? So
yeah. So that was another section that, I mean, this book helped me a lot.
Yeah, no,
And actually, it was very good timing because I actually had, I've got another meeting next week. I've had some inquiries about doing some workshops with some companies, and through SEO, just might I add, and I approached those meetings differently. I remember getting a meeting and I asked them some questions, and then I tried to sell what I could do for them, and they didn't choose to work with me. And I left that call thinking, oh, maybe it was my pricing that was too high. But after actually speaking with Matt, he helped me to realize that I didn't ask them enough questions. It wasn't about them, it was about me. And I've had 2 meetings this week about workshops, and I've drilled in, to them. I've asked them constant questions throughout. What is it, drilled in. And I could see them in the meeting really thinking and like feeling like, oh, this guy is really listening.
He's really trying to create
something. And then instead of then pitching anything to them, I didn't pitch anything to them in the meeting. I said, okay, I've got all I've replayed back to them what they've said. I've got all of these notes here. I said, I'm going to need to spend some time to actually think about this and create something that will get the maximum benefit for you. Let me come back to you next week, and then we'll go from there. And I mean, we can't tell now whether this is going to be successful or not, but I definitely feel more confident that it will be successful after those meetings, solely because I asked them bloody good questions.
Yeah, but the good thing as well is you're operating to a system.
Yes.
You're operating to a system. So, and again, it's kind of sales 101.
Yeah.
A good salesperson is someone that listens well and asks, I've worked in sales before. If you listen, the person will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
And if you can provide that solution for them, then you can ask good questions. So yeah, man. Sorry, go on.
No, I think you said the key thing with let's simplify it all.
Okay.
Talk less, listen more.
Facts. But listen, the thing is, you have to understand what you actually say. I mean, I know you understand, but I'm maybe doing this for other people because it's not just talk less.
Yeah.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
You have to listen, bro. That's the thing. You have to actually listen, which is I know, like, because that's how I feel. I think like because people that can go over your head so quickly. Basically, talk less, but you have to listen. And if you're listening, the answer will be presented to you. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. He's I know we're kind of run out of time. So he talks about in his last chapter and in the summary and the conclusion, which I don't normally really read conclusions and summaries too. Sometimes like I don't really read it, but I thought let me read this one. And he kind of ended it off with simply stay visible, play chess, and deliver distinctively. And I think that's a simplistic way to that's a very succinct way of bringing the whole book together. Keep it simple, stay visible, stay current. He speaks about LinkedIn. This book has definitely made me think, I need to, and we spoke in our call a few weeks ago about LinkedIn. I was like, I need to do more on LinkedIn because I haven't never really given it a proper try, like a sustained try, like a campaign. Let me actually see, because I think there's potential there.
And just to touch on that quickly, you put a post up the other day, and it got lots of engagement. It's like you've actually got quite a lot of people that like you on LinkedIn, but you're not utilizing it.
I know.
Yeah.
So this is and this, if it wasn't literally for the book, then I wouldn't have done that post. Like, facts, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's like, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But stay simple, simply stay visible, play chess, and deliver distinctively. And the chess part is keep your mind sharp. In those situations that he gave us where it's a game, right? They're trying to save money. You're trying to make money. It's business at the end of the day. So he's then presenting them a logical counter to what they've suggested towards him.
Yeah.
What you said makes sense, but you know what? What I said also makes sense.
Yeah.
So there, and then and then deliver. That's another thing, because you can come in and do the best presentation, the best C2C, ask the best questions, all that kind of stuff, and then you go there and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just terrible. And then obviously that's not what he's doing, but you need to make sure. I know, whatever I do, I'm like, we need to do the best. Like, there's no questions asked. It's going to be top tier of what we're going to deliver and produce. So that's a standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. really good stuff.
Yeah, man. Just to echo that, delivering quality counts. Be the best you can be and avoid the politics.
Facts.
That's what he says.
Facts.
So, yeah. Just quickly, what is the power of these pages?
Ooh.
There's lots of power in these pages.
There is. The power for me is the relationship building.
Yeah, okay.
And that obviously goes off into other strands. But the core of it is building that relationship.
Yeah.
Like we spoke about, C2Cs, building affinity, listening, XYZ. But it's relationships. That's the power for me.
Yeah, okay.
What about for yourself?
The power for me is you're not what you think you are.
Okay.
You are what other people think you are. For me, that is, the power in these pages. Right. Difficulty rating and star rating.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to just touch on quickly before we go into that?
Just quickly, yeah. I mean, really quickly. In chapter 3, he's asking, is consultancy right for you? But I'm going to change the word for consultancy with business.
Yeah.
So is business right for you? And he talks about the benefits of consulting. I'm going to talk about the benefits of running your own business.
Yeah, okay.
And he talks about freedom. You know, he talks about it in the book. He takes off all the holidays he spends with his kids. You know, he's very keen on his family and stuff like that. So he's got freedom to do what he wants to do in that sense. And running a business definitely gives you that freedom.
Can give you that freedom.
You think can?
Yeah, because sometimes you've got responsibilities as a business.
No, it's going to give you freedom.
Okay.
So obviously I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about in general. So so that he's chosen to take off those holidays.
Yes.
So basically what I'm saying is running a business, and a business, not self-employed, a business can give you opportunities to be free.
Yes.
So you can pick and choose.
Okay.
Maybe you want to work holidays, maybe you don't.
Yes.
You can pick and choose. But obviously you have to get there. It's not easy. You don't get on the first day, but you can get to that point. Second one is fulfillment. You know, if you're doing what you care about, it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, he can tell he's fulfilled from this. I'm definitely fulfilled from what I do. And you're fulfilled.
Yeah.
You should only really do a business that fulfills you.
Yeah.
You know, I got to my journey where I am now, passion over profits. I just started doing what I love, and it's been the most successful thing that I've ever done. And I've had a range of other businesses. It fulfills me. You know, it gives me that oomph to get out of bed in the morning. And then security, which is an interesting one, because people think that running a business or owning a business, there's not that much security compared to having a job. But that's not always the case. We've seen there's countless examples, redundancies, credit crunch, recessions, all the kind of stuff that things aren't as secure as you think. So basically, those are the benefits of being a business owner. Yeah. And I just wanted to kind of put that out there, really, because I really like that chapter. There's more into it. I won't go into it, but you know, he's doing really well. And if you work hard, you make the right decisions, and you do everything that you're supposed to do, you can do really well for yourself as well. So just believe in yourself, I guess. Yeah,
and put in the work. In the work.
Yeah.
There's actually lots of other things that we could have talked about in this book, which we don't have time to do it.
Read the book, man.
Read the book.
Yeah, buy the book.
Read the book. It's a great read. Difficulty rating. I finished this book so quick. So quick. It's definitely the quickest book I finished this year. And it was very easy read. 1 out of 5. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard for me.
Yeah, no, for me also, very easy to read. I read it super quick, and I enjoyed the read.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1. I didn't find it hard at all.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
1.
Star rating. So this is interesting for me because I had 3 numbers for 3 different people, and when I finished the book, it was 1 number.
Yes.
And yesterday, when I went to look at my notes, it was another number.
Yeah.
And because I've applied things, it's changed the number.
That's
if that makes sense.
Metric.
Yeah.
That last one is a very
important metric. Yeah. And remember, the value that I took, the things that I like in the book, has it, impacted my life? Yes. Am I going to take action from it? And did I enjoy the book? And all 3 boxes ticked. Yes. So initially, when I first finished it, I was like, this is a 4. But this is a 5.
Wow.
I'm giving this a 5 because it's actually had such a positive impact on my life already.
Yeah.
And it's the year of the upvote. I said it last year.
Yeah.
It's actually the year of the upvote. This is a 5 for me. And if you're an independent consultant, this is a 5. If you're in business, this is a 4. And if you're just if you just want a book to read about potentially transitioning, you want to open your mind, maybe it's a 3. Yeah. So,
No, I think that.
But for me and an independent consultant, yeah, 5.
Wow.
Big
Okay.
up, Matt.
Okay.
And actually, I want to just clarify that as well. I didn't want to put bias on this book because I know him. So I was like, I'm not gonna give it a 5 if I don't think it's a 5.
Yes.
But actually, the impact that it's already had is a 5.
Okay. Wow. I didn't see that coming.
Okay.
I didn't see that coming at all. Because you don't give out 5s.
I don't. But this is the year of the upvote.
Yeah.
But it, like I said, I think those meetings this week
Yes.
sealed
Value.
the 5
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
Yeah. It's like proof in the pudding. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it was proof in the pudding.
Say less. Boy, I was thinking, I was wrestling between reading, without talking too much. Because now you gave it a 5. That's kind of, but I don't want you to influence me.
Yeah, don't let me
No,
influence.
I won't. But this for me originally, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. It's a really good book. I really recommend it to anyone in business. But it's a 3.5, which is a good rating for me. But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You kind of got me thinking, am I doing too low? I'm not gonna lie, but no, a 3.5 seemed fair to me. I didn't when I decided, because I've said to myself now, I decide before we speak.
Yes.
And I don't let if I was to let this conversation sway me, I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not gonna let this conversation sway me.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is a bit of an emotional.
Yeah.
Because we're enjoying it, we're talking about the book. So I feel like it's a 3.5. It's something I would definitely recommend. I actually work with a consultant, and I think I'm going to recommend it to him to buy. I might even buy it for him.
Yeah.
And there's a few people that I know that have talked about they want to get into consultancy. So if you're close to me, I buy a lot of books for people. They don't read them, but I still buy. That's what I buy for people. I'd rather buy them that than other stuff. So, but yeah, 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right, next book.
I left it in the car because I thought you bought it.
I bought it. It's over there. But do you know what? It's underneath the tripod, so I'm not getting it. We don't want to move the tripod. Long story short,
We'll put it in after.
The next book is called Relentless. Yeah, I'll put a little clip up of the book here. You'll see it there. Yeah, I'll put here's the book. Links in the description book. But remember, if you enjoyed this, click the like button, subscribe, and support the thing.
This is the Power of Pages, and we review books.
If you've enjoyed this book review,
You'll probably like this one too.
this is the Power of Pages, where we review books that ignite your mind
Elevate your life.
and drive your ambition.